Welcome back to BikeBeat. Today I want to take you on a full ride through the 2026 Suzuki Gixxer SF 155, what it feels like, where it shines, where it compromises, and whether it lives up to the hype. Imagine you're riding along with me. This is how I'd tell the story. Riding into the frame, the first thing you notice is the silhouette, a fully fared body that gives you the sports bike impression without the bulk or intimidation of a big displacement machine. The fairing is sharp-edged, with angular cuts, side winglets, airflow channels, and a bellypan styling that delivers a coherent sporty look. The LED headlamp sits forward, carving a firm gaze into the road, while the indicators are compact and integrate well. The tail section is sleek, narrow, and elevated just enough to accentuate the sporty posture. The seat, somewhat raised for the pillion, gives you a sense of intention. You're not just commuting, you might just ride a bit. The clip-on style handlebars push you a little into a forward lean, but not in a punishing way. It's sporty, yes, but not uncomfortable for everyday use. Mounting the bike, your feet find the foot pegs easily, your knees hug the tank naturally. The 795mm seat height is reachable for many riders, and though shorter riders may need a slight adjustment, the bike feels balanced. Start it up, and there's a subtle hum, not loud, but you feel alive. Crack the throttle gently in the neutral position, hear the bike respond eagerly. Pull away from standstill, and you feel that the engine is tuned more for everyday drivability than for absolute redline punch. The 155 cubic centimeters single-cylinder oil and air-cooled motor delivers its torque in a linear, usable fashion. The mid-range is where the character lies. You'll find overtakes in city traffic and roll past slower vehicles without feeling you've pushed the bike to its limits. In lower RPM bands under 3,000 revolutions per minute, it's mellow. Between 4,000 and 8,000 revolutions per minute, it really comes alive. If you push near the red line, there is more to give, though the gains taper off. Still, for its purpose, it strikes a good balance. You shift through the 5-speed gearbox with reasonably crisp action. First gear comes in sharply, second and third follow smoothly, and by the time you reach fourth and fifth the ratios feel well spaced for both urban and highway use. I did miss a sixth gear during sustained highway cruising. At higher speeds the RPM climbs and a lower engine stress gear would have helped, but you can still maintain 100 to 110 km per hour reasonably, depending on rider weight, wind, and gradient. On open roads you feel the advantage of the fairing. Wind blast is reduced, especially over 80 km per hour, and you get a steadier ride. The bike feels planted. Enter into a bend, lean the Gixxer SF 155, and it responds confidently. The 17-inch wheels, combined with the chassis and suspension setup, deliver a sure-footed feel. The front telescopic fork handles potholes and undulations with composure, giving you good feedback without being overly stiff. The rear monoshock, with adjustable preload, smooths out harsher inputs and keeps the rear end under control. In dynamic corners, the bike is flickable. You can change direction with minimal fuss. In tighter turns you do feel the weight, but not in a way that unsettles confidence. Braking is reassuring. The front disc provides solid bite. The rear disc is responsive. The single-channel ABS helps maintain control under hard braking, especially in less than ideal surfaces. It's not dual-channel, so you have to be mindful on rear braking under wet or loose conditions, but as a safety aid, it's a welcome inclusion. In daily use, the motorcycle's ergonomics show their dual nature, sporty but still usable. In city traffic, the posture is manageable. Your wrists don't scream in 5 minutes. The rider triangle isn't extreme, and you can negotiate traffic, U-turns, and lane filtering without constantly battling discomfort. After an hour or so, yes, you'll feel some stiffness, your back, wrists, or knees, but that's expected for a sporty machine in this class. A more relaxed cruising position doesn't exist here, but the trade-off is acceptable for what you get in return. Heat and vibration are two factors that reveal the compromises of the design. In stop-and-go traffic in warm conditions, the air-cooled engine warms up. You feel heat radiating especially around your legs. Vibration is noticeable at higher RPM, though not unpleasantly harsh. You sense it, especially in your palms, but it's not debilitating. Noise levels are moderate. Wind noise grows with speed, engine hum increases, and exhaust note adds a sporty growl without being intrusive. Fuel efficiency is one of the strong suits. In mixed city highway riding with moderate throttle usage, I saw figures in the range of 35 to 42 km per liter. Conservative riding in flat roads can get closer to 45 km per liter. With a 12-liter tank, that gives a realistic range over 350 km between fuel stops in moderate usage, though in more aggressive riding or varied terrain the effective range drops somewhat. Still, for a fared bike in its class, that's a respectable figure. One of the special things about this 2026 model is its newer graphics, color options, and in some markets the addition of connectivity features. Suzuki has used dual-tone coatings, sharp contrast striping, matte finishes and metallic shades to elevate the visual impact. The LED cluster, where available, supports Bluetooth or Ride Connect style smartphone pairing, giving you call/SMS alerts, turn-by-turn navigation prompts, and a bit of modern flair. In markets where that's active, it gives the SF an edge over more basic bikes. Ride after ride, you realize this bike wants to be your daily companion with sporting character. It isn't built to be the fastest 150 in every scenario, but it aims to feel special in everyday usage. The agility makes it perfect in heavy traffic, the wind protection makes highway stretches more comfortable, the styling delivers emotional appeal. Of course, trade-offs exist. When you stretch the bike to highway extremes, you feel the limitations, the tall RPM, the absence of a sixth gear, the engine heat. Also, the single-channel ABS means you must still be careful when braking the back wheel. For extended touring rides, the sporty posture may begin to bite your back, wrists, and rider fatigue level will show over many hours. When you compare it to naked siblings or rivals, you see the pros and cons. The naked version might feel lighter and more upright, better suited for city use but lacking wind protection and sport styling. Rivals in the segment may offer more aggressive performance, liquid cooling, or extra cylinders. But those often come with higher cost, higher maintenance, or more complexity. The Gixxer SF's advantage is balance, good looks plus usable performance plus lower technical overhead. Let's talk numbers for price. In some markets like India, recent versions of the Gixxer SF have retailed around Indian rupee 137,000 ex-showroom for the base variant. In Pakistan, estimates for the 2026 version put it around PKR 520,900, subject to local taxes, import duties, dealer margins. Those numbers are indicative, the actual on-road price may vary significantly depending on region, variant, color scheme, extras, and offers. From a value proposition standpoint, you're getting a fully fared machine with LED lighting, a modern cluster, connectivity in some markets, good fuel economy, and a proven Suzuki engine and brand backing. Maintenance costs are moderate, spare parts relatively accessible, and the simplicity of an air-cooled single cylinder means fewer things that can go wrong compared to complex liquid-cooled machines. So, that's my take on the 2026 Gixxer SF 155, what it brings, what it compromises, and where it shines. Let me know in the comments, do you want a full performance test, comparison against its rivals, or long-term ownership feedback? I'm ready to take this bike deeper. Ride safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video.